Hey, good morning, Serge. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Do you have your coffee this morning?
In fact, I have tea this morning, Serge.
Tea.
I
Well,
always
maybe
try and make our coffee meetings a little bit more interesting, bringing some diversity, some variety into the day.
maybe we should have it tea with coffee. Tea and coffee with Prasanthi and Serge.
I think that would be a brilliant idea. So maybe we'll think about it for next week. Tell me,
Okay.
how's your week gone? Anything new and exciting popping up in your end of the world?
Well, I think everything is new is exciting. As everything going on with school and at home, that's pretty busy. Busy at work. So, how about yourself? Pretty busy at Health Job Hub?
Oh, yes. And balancing homeschooling and working is quite the challenge. So I have to say I am run off my feet at the moment, but it's all good. I love what I'm doing. So it makes it all worth it at the end.
Exactly.
I look forward to our Wednesday wisdom conversations, especially having coffee and tea with you on Pulse for Health Job Hub. And, today's topic is really near and dear to Health Job Hub. You know that we specialize in finding highly skilled, in demand, hard to find candidates. And one of our, strategies is to use social media recruiting. And, I'm always willing to learn new tips and advice on how we could improve our strategies and, be more effective and efficient. And I know you're the same because you are looking for, is it in demand IT talent from what I believe, right? So we probably have a lot of notes we can exchange. So the floor is yours, Serge. Tell me, can you give me or share with me like some tips and advice on how we could be, better at social media recruiting?
Yeah, I think social media recruitment is an interesting one. If we talk about small and medium business, there's a lot of conceptions of how you should actually be going out to the how you should be going to the market. But one, I think the biggest mistake that everyone does when it comes to social media marketing is they're actually not social. So when I say that, and what that means by that is actually being social on social media is not only like there's a couple ways. So you can basically spam advertising and just basically just put your brand out there as much as possible. And there's some benefits to that. But where I think the real benefit in how social media was invented is for two-way conversation. So anyone that is in either looking for a job or also is for employers that are looking for employees, what especially in highly sought skills, the best advice that I can give you is join those groups on Facebook and LinkedIn that talk about that particular subject that you're interested in or your particular field and bring value to the discussion. I think that's one of the things that is not done enough, and this is where you can get a lot of attention. So comment on posts on people that are bringing a subject that's exactly to your attention. Go on groups, but really be social. I think is one of the advice that I want to share when it comes to social media marketing or just leveraging social media as a small business.
No,
The
I
other thing,
totally agree. Yeah.
yeah, what do you think of that? Like, as far as I think a lot of people just go on and post one thing on Facebook, leave it there for a month. That's unfortunately not social media marketing. It's not
Yeah.
being social, and that's not the purpose that social media was created. But what's your
Yeah,
thoughts there?
yeah. You know, it is a difficult one for me as well because at Health Job Hub, we have a company page on most of the social media platforms, all of the top performing ones. And, we are posting a lot of job content because that is what our primary, role is. And we are trying to, market that content to job seekers. So sometimes we can be seen as antisocial because we are providing content and it's more job related content, but in other ways we do try and interact in terms of groups. So I am a huge fan of groups, as you suggested. We interact with our members, we see what the pulse is on those groups, and we try and add value. We try and be so targeted and specific on those groups in terms of sharing our job content. So if we are looking at family physician groups in Ontario, we can see what those guys are talking about, and then we can share with them the related content that they might want to, view. And in that way, I feel that we are adding tremendous value because we are going right to that target candidate and we are providing the information that they're asking for in real time. So that's a way that we as a company have found that we can actually provide value, to our social networks per se. On a personal note, I love going in, and if there's something happening in the market and somebody's made a post, I would love to either congratulate them or share more information. So I definitely feel that in our personal capacities, we have that opportunity to be really social on social media, and that in that way our voice is heard, and then people want to know more about who we are and what we do, and that's how we get candidates and even employers coming to our site. So that's how I leverage social media right now.
Yeah, so I think that's really good. I think the other point when it comes to social media, and I think for you, there's two elements as far as marketing your business. You're looking to hire people for companies that are advertising on Health Job Hub, so
Exactly.
the
Yeah.
strategy is a little bit different. I get the question a lot as far as when it comes to recruitment teams or talent acquisition or small, medium business of what type of content should they be sharing on social media.
100%.
I think if we look at what people want to see, they want to see how it is to work at that particular company. So as you're leveraging Instagram, even Facebook or whatever the case is, focus on what your audience really wants to see if you are trying to attract them to work for you. And that's usually sharing what your culture is like. Sometimes to try to give as much, a view inside to what it actually is working at your clinic, at your small business, medium business, or even larger company, will attract people and give them a really good perception. So I'm a big believer of showcasing culture, and I do believe that it can't be overproduced or fabricated. This is where user-generated content is really important. So having your actual people internally produce the content sometimes. So, and that might it might seem overwhelming, but what I suggest on that end is like if you have an Instagram account, maybe have one of your employees do an Instagram takeover for that day. So they're running the account and
Love
they're
that.
basically
Yeah.
giving a day in the life of what it is working in that particular role.
100%.
And then you can take those pictures and videos and actually leverage it further for your content on Facebook or even on Instagram. So that's one of the things that I suggest.
And
Is
so just on that point, for the different social platforms, would you recommend producing different content? So for LinkedIn versus Instagram versus Facebook, they're all social media platforms, but they interact with their audience in a very different way. So what's your recommendation on that?
Oh, I think that's a really good point. I think the content can be similar, but how you basically package it up could be a little bit different. So obviously, I think the lines between those different formats are blurring a little bit. Like the one that's blurring probably the most is LinkedIn.
Yeah.
We're starting to see a lot more creative type content that we weren't seeing maybe a year ago.
Yeah.
So what was only for Instagram a year ago it might work really well for LinkedIn now. I think at the end of the day, people want authentic views of what it is to work at your company on LinkedIn, Facebook, or Instagram, or even TikTok. I think content on TikTok would be different, but in that sense, I think you can leverage it very similarly, but you can make some adjustments just for the audience you're targeting.
Awesome. And very quickly, Serge, what's your thoughts on paid social media marketing?
Yeah, I think you need to determine as a company if it makes sense for you, especially as a small, medium business. Generally, I would say yes, on many platforms. Because if we take a look at the organic, and organic means basically how much visibility you're getting for free without paying anything. On Facebook and Instagram, it's been dramatically reduced since probably 2015, 16. So to really get that visibility, it's better to put a little money behind it to create that traction. And you don't need to spend a whole lot. I think we could spend a whole episode, Prasanthi, talking about where you should spend, how you should spend. So maybe we put this as a
Yes,
future episode.
100%.
Um,
Yes.
right now on organic free traffic, LinkedIn is killing it. So
Yes.
you should be producing a lot of content for LinkedIn. But if we look at Facebook, Instagram, putting $50 behind a post might be able to drive a lot of
Oh,
visibility
yeah.
to your brand. So it's really for you to determine that. And I think, but I would suggest in a lot of cases, if you're trying to get high visibility and grow your viewership and your
Mhm.
followership count pretty quickly, putting a little bit of money behind it definitely has value.
I love it. Yes. And that's great advice. Awesome tips, Serge. I'm definitely going to implement some of that as well in my own social media strategies. Thank you. As always, Wednesday mornings are the best. I love the wisdom you share and impart with our viewers. We'll see you again next week, Wednesday, and have a great day.
Have a great day. Enjoy your coffee.
Thank you. You too.